Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Wisdom Artificial Intelligence. So, today is March 17th. Yesterday, March 16th, I did write a newsletter on the much promised friction economy to regenerative outcome economy. It is a piece that has really come together and captures everything that I've been doing through the RASHMI series, through the daily doses of RASHMI, as well as what we have launched through seeds, and why all of those form critical building blocks in eventually transitioning the overall institutional systems, the human systems, the technology, as well as the environmental systems collectively to go from the current scenario of all-out race that we are engaged in to something that I've been calling a conscious grid and how the conscious grid emerges. So do check that out on LinkedIn as well as Substack under the title The Wisdom Hierarchy, and the piece is titled From Friction Economy to Regenerative Outcome Economy. Now let's go ahead and get started for today. Today's dose of Rashmi is: unconscious intelligence is a sharp tool to discern what to get involved with or not based on your perceived identities and past memories. Wisdom, on the other hand, is complete involvement with life without getting entangled in any situation. Examining this from the three-layer Rashmi architecture, as I've been doing with every dose of Rashmi this month. So at layer one, attention is actually very distracted. However, we are completely self-centered in terms of we are identified with a narrow identity, which is just us or a very, very small circle that we consider as our family, our small little unit. Could be something slightly larger, like the company that you work for, or the largest identity that we take on is the nation state or the religious group and things like that. That is how we experience the world at layer one. At layer two, or the growth mindset, the most important thing to us is the goal or objective that we have set. And we have learned how to keep working towards that goal and how to adapt as well as loosen some of the identities and even create larger identities. This is what creates entrepreneurial leaders, corporate leaders. They are very good at stitching together an organizational narrative and get a group of human beings working together towards that narrative. They have that innate leadership quality, and it is great. As Venturies Inc., we advocate for creation of these organizational narratives to get people to build a great product and innovate. That is the secret to doing that. So growth mindset is absolutely great. People use this to become successful, and these are great qualities. And in a way, growth mindset teaches you to loosen your identities and then create new identities and get a group of human beings all working towards that identity. Now, at layer three, this is where, as I've talked about in this series, this is the Rashmi bridge, or this is the bridge where you honor your individuality fully. So you still use growth mindset and the organizational narratives that you can build to get a group of human beings working together. Use them towards goals and objectives which are more human and planet centric. However, you at the same time realize that these are all perceived identities, and what is real is beyond those identities. And you are able to loosen that identity when it's no longer serving you. So you honor your individuality fully, yet you are not imprisoned by your individuality or the identity that you have taken on. That is Rashmi layer 3 in terms of the identity architecture. And then your attention is directed accordingly at this layer. If you're operating at this layer, it is the attention is genuinely directed towards whatever emerges from a state of complete alignment. And that is where the care from wisdom led operating model comes in. Once you're operating at this state, what you will care about is genuinely going to be human and planet centric. Thank you.